Today I experienced everyone's worst nightmare. I called 911 and they didn't answer the phone. This was in Chautauqua County, Jamestown, New York. I also experienced every mother's worst nightmare. My son was lured into the woods, jumped, and brutally assaulted by 9 boys. When I called 911, I was driving. I told them the location I was at. My son had just ran there from the woods. People were after him. He escaped. I don't know if they're looking for him. This is the street we're on. We need your help. We need an officer to come here now to find these people who almost took my son's life. I gave them my name and where I was. I told them the school I was at. The 911 dispatcher said, okay, we don't have any officers available right now. So I hung up the phone. I tried to call my son. I didn't know where he was. He had a minor head injury and he wasn't coherent. He was in a state of shock. And he kept saying where he was without saying where he was. And it was so confusing. So I called 911 again. And it kept ringing, 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 ringing. Finally, I find my son. I call 911 again. And I told them we are on our way to the emergency room. And they said, okay, an officer will meet you at the emergency room. And while we were at the emergency room, my family showed up. And my other family member said that she saw the boys because we know the name of the boys. And my mom knows what they look like because they had a sleepover at her house before. So since my family member was with my son in the emergency room, I got in my car. And I saw where the boys were, so I called 911 again. I said, the boys who just assaulted my son are all sitting on a porch at this address. And 911 said that they can't send an officer. And then when I started slowing down, as I was on the phone with 911, the boys sprinted. They started running. So I told 911, they're running. They're running for me. These boys almost took my son's life today, and they threatened to come after him again for his life. And so the 911 dispatcher said, just wait for the officer to get to the emergency room. So Jamestown, New York, Chautauqua County 911 dispatcher failed to send an officer to drive up the street where these boys were running. I told them the exact direction they were going, what street they were on, and everything. And said to just wait at the hospital. And they just let the kids run off. So the police didn't show up for like 35 minutes. And I was driving in the direction the boys were running so I could get pictures of their faces to show the police. And I'm glad I did. I got pictures of their faces. But it is crazy how the 911 system failed us today. I am just grateful that at this point in time, my house is safe. My son is safe, but I don't feel safe. I feel very threatened. I feel like if I call 911, they might not pick up the phone. They let it ring like 6 or 7 times. I hung up. I had to keep calling. It was insane. That is insane. I need to move out of this city, Jamestown, New York, as soon as possible. The crime is 84% higher than the national average. If there's an absolute emergency, 911 won't answer the phone, and there will be an extreme delay at getting police to where there is an emergency. That is scary. Now, obviously, the police finally showed up, took the report, took photos, but the boys premeditated this entire attack with the intent to rob my son, and they did. They got away with it. I have their names, I have pictures of their faces, and I have a picture of their houses. Some of the boys I didn't get pictures of because they ran in the opposite direction. One was on a bike. I hope to move as soon as I possibly can. Today when I was in the ER, I filed a rental application. So I might be taking a road trip soon to view some apartments out of state, and I'm not going to be saying where I live. I need to take my son to the emergency dentist tomorrow. He can only eat soft foods and fluids right now because I don't even want to talk about this. I need as much support as I can possibly get right now because I literally spent more than half the money I had last month on my car repairs, a rental car, and I paid my rent. I have 2 landlords, so I paid my rent until the end of August. That's 4 months. And then I paid my other landlord 3 months for the garage I rent. I live in upstate New York in a small city called Jamestown. It's like anarchy here. This is not a city to raise children in. And all of your support who can help me move as far away from this town as possible, thank you. I am forever in your debt. I don't know what to do. I want to go home, but I can't go home. I don't know how to explain the crazy it feels to have a home that you pay for that you don't even feel safe to go to.